So these are the 14 signs and symptoms of vitamin D deficiency. 14 signs and symptoms of vitamin D deficiency. Number 1 is aching muscles. It's actually deep muscle pain. In fact, I have recently suspected this patient to be vitamin D deficient when she came for muscle aches. And one of the clues was when I touched her on her muscles. She was so tender, even gentle muscles. And so I asked for a vitamin D level, and yes, voila, the following day, I was curious to know, and her levels were way below. They were 21 nanomoles per liter. This is the beauty of, when you find something that you can treat, and just by a simple use of vitamin D it's so amazing and so fulfilling as a doctor, because then for them as well, it's a point of education. It's something treatable, and not just that. It's not the muscles. There are so many things, as we have known. Her going to take vitamin D now will impact her health, her allergies, her sensitivities to those medication, her stamina, her muscle aches. So many things will really all jack up by the simple, inexpensive vitamin D optimization. Second one is painful bones. You really feel that your bones are tender. It's a deep bone pain. So these are subtle. If you're not suspecting, if you haven't heard about vitamin D deficiency, you may not even entertain this, as a lot of my colleagues, I'm pretty sure, have. So this is one of the things that I hope some colleagues or some of you may relate to your health workers or your GPs if you're feeling this. Not to downgrade, but maybe they're not aware, and just ask for a vitamin D level. Number 3 is fatigue. If you're feeling always tired, that may be a sign of vitamin D deficiency, because vitamin D helps in our energy production. So number 4 is reduced muscle performance. So these are when you realize yourself having less sports performance, when you used to be athletic and able to do runs for a long time, and this time you start to perform less. Think of vitamin D. Chances are you might have lowered vitamin D levels. Or if you start to have sports injuries, checking your vitamin D. Number 5 is brain health. I've already said that vitamin D helps in our brain function, in the production of those hormones, happy hormones, so it affects moods as well, and your cognition. So it helps reduce the incidence of dementia or depression and anxiety. Vitamin D is imperative and it's important in brain health. In fact, even in the incidence of autism and ADHD, because these are disorders, there are studies that have shown that the incidence of this may have come from mothers with low levels of vitamin D. Number 6, sleep disorders. Because of its effects on calcium metabolism and the production of melanin, if you have a hard time sleeping, think about checking your vitamin D, because it may be it. Number 7, do you suffer from sweaty brows, sweaty forehead? If you're sweating in your forehead excessively and the rest of your body is not, chances are you may be vitamin D deficient. Number 8, hair loss. Your crowning glory, you brush your hair and there's so much of hair in your caught in your brush. Check again, check your vitamin D levels. It might be low. Vitamin D stimulates our hair follicles, new and old, to produce strong hair or to regenerate new hair follicles. Number 9, slow healing wounds. If you have wounds that are taking a long time to heal, because vitamin D helps in the production of new cells. Number 10, dizziness. If you suffer from dizziness and constantly check your vitamin D levels, you might suffer from vestibular neuronitis, or the nerve in your vestibule or your inner ear, which helps in our balance. You may have inflammation of that from vitamin D deficiency. Number 11, heart problems. If you have palpitations, if you have high blood pressure or heart issues, you might as well check your vitamin D levels. Number 12, excess weight. All because it could be that chances are you are not exposing yourself to the sun. Because of your weight, you need a lot more of vitamin D to reach optimal levels compared to a normal weight person. So number 13, very, very important. It's recurring infections. It could be, respiratory tract infections over and over again. It's never going away. Or if you have infection and you unusually have them severely, check your vitamin D. This one is a common clue for vitamin D deficiency. And number 14, last but not the least, is reduce cognitive function. If you start to feel that you're not remembering names or you are not as alert and as sharp as you used to be, because you might be vitamin D deficient. So these are the 14 signs and symptoms of vitamin D deficiency: aching muscles, painful bones, fatigue, reduced muscle performance, brain health, sleep disorders, sweaty forehead, hair loss, slow wound healing, dizziness, heart problems, hypertension, excess weight, recurring infections, and reduced cognitive function. Maybe you think that some of them are present in you, so go and have your vitamin D levels checked, or you start having your vitamin intake of sunshine, exposure to the sun, supplementing and taking those vitamin D rich foods, which now comes to my next topic, which is what are the sources of vitamin D? We seek to educate and empower you to live healthy, vibrant lives.